So, since it's gonna be a thing, um, might as well finally talk about it. Though, to be fair, it's been kind of a thing for almost a year now, maybe a year and a half. And that is the whole thing about the female custodies situation. Um, what do I think of it? This whole female custodies thing. As some people are kind of treating it like the end of the world, or it's the end of the game as we know it. Um, and like I'll reiterate some stuff I've talked about in some shorts here and there and some other videos in this video. But like I've seen people like overreact to the nth degree over female custodies models. Like I have seen some serious like discourse. Like one video I saw was just a guy bawling in tears at the saying that Warhammer is forever destroyed because we have female custodies and I'm like, grow up, man. He's like in full on tears, like he had just lost a member of his family, and I'm just sitting here like, okay, you need some psychological help, my dude. Other people are going through the whole it's woke, it's this and that, and some people are already like trying to say like, oh, Henry Cavill has stopped his Warhammer production because of the woke stodies or something like that. And to that I say these are the same people who also talked about Henry Cavill walked away from his project because we hadn't heard anything about the Warhammer 40k TV show for months, and also like there were these wild rumors about Henry Cavill leaving and stuff like that over differences with Amazon. And when in reality, he was just getting ready for his child to be born. Like he was just kind of going into full dad mode, and also like as an actor, he was working on other projects. And then those people got quiet. But now I'm already like, it can tell you, I can see those videos coming if they haven't already. But what do I think? Like, what do I think of the female custodies thing? Well, for starters, I think the biggest thing that, the biggest thing that that I kind of look at it as, you got to do something interesting with it. Like, you can't, like, I don't, like, I'm for it if you make it make sense. Like, that's my thing. And also, like, here's the other thing I'm worried about with the female custodies thing, is that they're gonna take away from the Sisters of Silence and Sisters of Battle. That's kind of one of my problems, is that it's gonna like diminish the Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence, because those factions are also incredibly great. But I worry they're going to be kind of diminished as like because not as like a universe, but as a company, GW might easily say, there could be, why do we need these female characters when we have these new female characters here? So that's kind of my like, I'm worried GW might pull that, but then again, the Sisters of Battle might still. I'm more with the Sisters of Silence than I am Sisters of Battle. The Sisters of Battle have enough of like their own models and whatnot to keep going. It's the Sisters of Silence I'm more worried about, if anything. But getting back to my point is that as long as you make it work and make it like characters that we can actually like follow and get behind, I'm totally for it. Because my thing is, if you can't make it work in lore, then what was the point of doing this? And I'm not talking like even like in Warhammer. I'm talking like I've seen this in comics. I've seen this in books and TV shows. Like, if you make this a change so massive and yet do nothing with it other and just kind of coast on just it's different, then it was pointless. That's my thing, is that I'm hoping that like when we get more of these female custodies in lore and with these characters, we get to have some pretty cool stuff behind them. Like the whole thing of like the Emperor choose why and the whole thing of like there's always been female custodies. Well, how come we haven't seen them? Like, is there a cool reason behind that? And I would imagine the Emperor probably made there probably were female custodies that were made by the Emperor. He probably saw a lot of, he probably saw a lot of like potential in a lot of female warriors and didn't want that to go to waste. So I I would actually say what I think would be kind of interesting is like there are female custodes, there just aren't a lot of them because the process to create custodes is tough in of itself. Making making female custodes is equally difficult. So you could say like there's always been female custodes. The problem is the process is way more taxing than on female bodies than it is male bodies. That's why there's kind of a differential there. So I think I think that could kind of rectify things of saying like, yeah, they've been here, you just haven't seen them because the process is ungodly stressful on the body. It's actually kind of explained in a short story, I believe. I can't remember what the book was, but it was basically a chaplain of the was it the Raptors? I don't know, but basically it was this they were looking for aspirates for their chapter, and the best soldier there was a girl, and the chaplain was like, I can't take you, I'm sorry. And the other guys were like, why don't you take her? She's perfect. And he's like, the process will kill her. It's kind of heavily implied that Space Marines have tried to make female Space Marines, not because, it's different. It's more like the female Space Marines, it's good soldiers regardless. So I think that would be kind of an interesting take on the lore where we tried it. We tried it, it ain't gonna work, and we're not gonna waste resources on, if we know it doesn't work, we're not gonna do it. And I feel like that's gonna be that would be kind of palatable for explaining the female custodes and saying like they've always been here. I think that would be a cool way, but again, basically saying like, yeah, the process of making custodes is ungodly taxing on a human body. To do it on a female body is, to do it on a female body is also it's 10 times worse or something like that. You could get away with that, I think. But we go back to the whole thing of two things. One, you got to give us some characters to follow behind when you break out these female custodes. I think they have named some for the model kits, but you got to make us care about them, because if they're just Joe Schmo or Jane Schmo, I should say, then what was the point? And two, do not diminish. That's my thing, is just don't diminish the actual female factions we have. I don't think we should. I still don't think we should have female Space Marines. I think we should just stop it. Custodes is way more palatable. I would believe the Emperor would have made also, you could probably say that the process to make female custodes also kind of proved to the Emperor that's not going to work for the for the Astartes. That process I've kind of learned is just not going to work. So I think with Space Marines, I doubt we'll get it, but never say never, right? I don't think I would be kind of against. I wouldn't have a frothing rage spasm over it, is what I'm saying. I would just be like, I just feel like it's unnecessary. That's my thing, is that I feel like female Space Marines are a little unnecessary, because again, then we're definitely taking away from the Sisters of Battle. And that one saying we've always had female Space Marines, that would saying that we've always had female Space Marines, that would completely throw that off. But saying there's always been female custodes, that's a little more palatable to me, because that one you can explain. You could explain, because the custodes themselves are not so much interested in gender. It's more just defending the Emperor. And I know some people are gonna be like, well, they had that one female custodes in the Tithe short, and yeah, that one I was like, oh, I guess she's female. Neat. But also, that was probably a GW that was probably not one of your best choices for. That was probably not one of your best choices for making a space, making that character, because it's not that you could have just done it as a male character. It's more that character was treated very unlikable. But if you actually go by lore, that custodes don't really treat Space Marines with respect at all. But this kind of gave a lot of people to say, and I found it hilarious too, of people going, if I was that Space Marine, if I was one of the White Templars, I would turn on that Custodes. And I immediately laughed at every one of those comments, seeing them. I laughed because, like, do you guys not understand lore here? Like, it's not even that it was a female Custodes, it's a Custodes in general. Every one of those Space Marines would have been bodied in 5 seconds. Like, every one of those Space Marines would have been absolutely just shit-wrecked in that moment. But I think that kind of, like, the demeanor was kind of... I think the demeanor of the Custodes is, like, kind of giving people the fuel to be like, see, female Custodes are bitches. And I'm like, no, that's just Custodes in general. They just don't like Space Marines. They just don't treat Astartes with any respect, like any real respect. But I feel like that did put a damper on it. I feel like that was testing ground, and I feel like that was kind of the wrong thing. I feel like for future female Custodes, I feel like they're like, you really gotta have, and I'm trying to find a sentence for this. I feel like you got to give us more than just your typical Custodes personality. I'm not saying make them like a female Constantine Valdor, although I'm pretty sure the new Shield captain they announced is probably going to be like a very Valdor-esque character. The other thing is that the other major thing is that I feel like with these characters, with these new female Custodes, I feel like they kind of need to come off with that same kind of Custodes aura, but also, like, not just make them kind of a brick, I feel like we should be giving more, and this is kind of the both male and female Custodes, my opinion on them, is that I feel like sometimes a lot of Custodes characters, whether they be Trajan or Valdor, a lot of them, and I understand it's in character, they have a lot of contempt for, like, literally anyone who isn't one of them, and even then that's contentious. I feel like we just kind of need to soften them up, and by soften them I mean, like, they're kind of able to talk to people, you know what I mean, like able to be like, we can actually, like, have communication and not be like just spit on them, right? So that's kind of my thought, and I know there are some exceptions to that in the Custodes rule. I know there's from Vaults of Terra, I forget that Custodes name, but he goes through a character arc on that. And also the other thing, another one, there are some exceptions to the Custodes being jerks rule, but it's not so much that they're jerks, it's more like they just are above you, like that they're demigods. Like, they don't even, a lot of them don't, like, how many times has Valdor been, like, shitty to like Guilliman and Rogel, right? Like, how many times, like, the Custodes just don't like anyone. So that's how I kind of chalked up as, but again, it kind of brought up the whole thing of, like, maybe we shouldn't have gone with because I do actually wonder what would people have still been like, we'll turn on the Custodes if it was a male character. I feel like there would be a good chance that that answer would be split half. But still, everyone I laughed in the comments when people are saying, if I was the leader of the White Templars, I defy the orders and, turn on the Custodes. And that I said, you're gonna fight a Sisters of Silence and Custodes who just took out 2 electors in under a minute. And also, like, you're gonna defy the Emperor's order. Like, hearing an order from a Custodes directly is like hearing the voice of the Emperor himself. So, cool. You're gonna commit a heresy. Cool. But I do understand where people are coming from, because, like, and I'm gonna get into this now. I feel like the other thing is, I do understand where a lot, like, some of it is irrational. Well, like, some of it I feel like is irrational. Like I said in the beginning of this video, one guy was just crying like someone killed his dog. But I do understand where some people are coming from, because I have this kind of same thought too of, you really got to jump through hoops now to make it, like, worth the change. That's my thing. Is like you now really have to um, turn really kind of, you really have to make it work, like make it count is what I'm saying. Like that's the big thing, is that you really have to now make it count, and also like make it more, make it palatable from here on out. You've put that on yourself, GW. Like here it is, the big lore change that, we have female Custodes now. And while I think like it's using Custodes instead of the space, I think if it was Space Marines, I think people would genuinely have lost their ever-loving minds. With Custodes, it's more palatable because you could see the Emperor kind of like maybe toying with the idea. In fact, I would not be shocked if like if we get a book, because I'm sure we're going to get a book or something, or codex, especially maybe a blurb in the Custodes Codex regarding the whole female Custodes thing, and maybe even like sneak in a thing of like the Emperor was playing around with the idea of like having male and female Astartes, and that idea was all the way back with the Thunder Warriors. Even say like he tried to make it like there were maybe like male, and there probably were a handful. I would not be shocked if that's the case. Like he says like, oh, I made a handful of female Thunder Warriors, didn't work. And that's like, you could say like, oh, the Custodes process didn't take like it takes, but like it takes on, it's not so much the gender, it's the person. And like the Emperor could be like, and what I learned is the process is way more taxing on the female body than it is the male body. So I just made more males. But if I can find, if I can find like the right warrior, regardless of gender, I'm going to at least put them through the process to make them a Custodes. So I think that would work. And I go back to, again, I understand where some people are coming from. It's like this is a massive lore change. This is a massive retcon that, like, to throw it out there and not like. But I do wonder, like, if not now, when would have been a good time, right? Like, when would have been in the past been a solid time? Though, to be fair, maybe before social media became a real major thing. Probably. That probably be when you should have thrown out the female Custodes thing, but hey. Anyway, what was I saying? Like I said, if it works, I'll be for it. But right now, I'm just like, I'm of the mindset of you gotta prove yourself now, GW. You made this big change, and I'll support it if you make it worth everyone's time. If you just said, we have female Custodes now, bye, and do nothing with the idea, then what was the point of doing it to begin with? Like, actually give us like characters to care about, actual like storylines, and a proper explanation on things, and also don't diminish the Sisters of Silence. That's another thing. That would be good. I would appreciate no diminishing of the Sisters of Silence either. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling, and I just kind of thought I'd throw my hat in the ring about this. I don't know. This has been going on too long. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this whole female Custodes, this whole female Custodes, quote-unquote discourse, I guess you could say. Are you for it? Are you against it? And if so, what are your reasons? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.